Hey, we got to address this real quick because we were talking amongst ourselves. Turtle's here with us. Jason, we call him Whispers, our camera guy, having us on Twitch and YouTube. Jersey Mike's here, our on-site engineer. And back at the studio, Big Bo is handling all the engineering duties. So this morning on WIP, our sister station up in Philly,
right,
Rob Thompson, who's the manager of the Phillies, went on WIP's morning show and said, I like our guys to act like they've been there before. He was talking about Ronald Acuña and how Acuña pimped his home run last night. Right. Now, he is not the only one that's hitting home runs. Matt Olson's hitting home runs. Ozuna's hitting home runs. This whole fly thing that the Braves are doing, it's their thing. Every team has a thing that they do, okay? But as I said, and I just responded to our guys up there at IP, and it's not their fault. They were talking to the manager, and he popped off. We are seeing Ronald Acuña have a historic year. And because of it, Ronald is having fun. This isn't about your guys acting like they've been there. Because, Rob, no one has been here. None of your guys have been here. What Ronald Acuña is doing, nobody in baseball has ever done. So to say, oh, I wish, he'd act like he's been there because that's how I like our guys to act. This is a historic moment we're watching. These next few weeks, we're going to see potentially Olson break a record or two. Ronald probably increase the milestones and stolen bases and home runs. We've never seen what Ronald Acuña is doing. And from a Braves perspective, I love it. He's in the moment, Mike. He's having fun. Who gives a damn about what Rob Thompson has to say about Acuña trying to act like he's been there?
Yeah, even though you see it now in Major League Baseball, the exuberance and the fun, and whether it's Juan Soto or pick your guy. And by the way, whether this was simply because they didn't like Ronald and our antics or what they perceive as antics last year. That's why Rhys Hopkins, whenever he hit the big 3-run homer off Strider in the divisional round, he threw that bat halfway to Camden, New Jersey. I mean, I get it. If you're old school, you're still trying to wrap your head around what guys do. And but we're not in 1975. We're not in 1980. We're not in 1995. Where if Ronald had done that, rounding third and stopping to pause, somebody would put him on his tuchus. But people have their thing. You got the celebrations in the dugout. You've got all these things, and the fans enjoy it. So it's a very old school approach. And if you don't like it, then do something about it. Then don't allow your pitcher to let Ronald hit a 450, foot home run off him.
By the way, this pitch that he hit last night, it was in the top of the fifth. That ball is way down. I mean, he went down and got it and took it out the yard, 2-run home run. But Mike, I just have a fundamental issue with this stuff because Rob Thompson, his team, they're not beating us. They're not winning a World Series this year. And yeah, they beat us in the playoffs. I get it. But this is just being a curmudgeon. This is just a guy who's like, I'm going to complain because they're kicking our butts, and I'm going to say this about their star player. And it to me, it just is so ridiculous to think, like, what does he say when his guys celebrate however they celebrate?
Yeah, the first time we saw this was that Cardinals series in 19 when the Cardinals went up. They beat Ronald up 10 runs. That manager's no longer a manager, by the way. I think he's a bench coach with the Padres. But, yeah, you've seen it because that stuff, the unwritten rules of baseball, which everyone says, we'll put it in the rule book, then we can all obey it. Those things are still dying hard with some of these old school guys around baseball. But as we said, this is now a decade now that it's really been going on where guys are doing their thing. Look, Reggie pimped his shot. It wasn't like we haven't seen this. It's just there's certain folks out there. Well, I just don't.
It's more about what you like John Fricke right there. Why did John Fricke come out?
It's funny. I was going to an older voice. It's just the first thing that popped in my mind. Sorry, John.
I saw that.
But no, it's just some guys, and there's even Braves fans who don't like what he does.
Get out of here.
We've seen it.
Come on.
You and I have talked about it.
Who cares? He's having fun.
I know. I don't like these. We always do the Bob Feller line. Well, it's these Caribbean players. What do you mean, Mr. Feller? Exactly by that. So there's two things. If you say there's racism, why does it have to be racist? Well, because there is some racism. There's a tinge of racism involved there. Then you've got these guys that look. If you're Robin, that really irks you that Acuña is beating your brains in. We're 16 games up on you guys. Now look. You'll still have something to say about it in October, and the Phillies are still a very dangerous team because when their bullpen is on and their starting pitching's on, they got guys that can rake. And you saw, by the way, last night, Bryce Harper hits a shot. He was kind of going around, doing his thing around the base paths.
Go back and look at some of Bryce Harper's home runs as a Philly. That's
he
what I'm saying.
He flosses.
Oh man, come on.
But again, It's still out there. The stigma of the celebration thing, it's dying hard around the big leagues. And here's a guy putting it out there in Philly, which is a miserable town full of miserable people, so they love that stuff. They can talk about it.
Yeah, here's what I love is I watch Little League footage from around the country. Doesn't matter where you're at, what state you're in. It's Dukes and Bell at Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Kids coming up to bat, and they got their music, and they're dancing, and they're having fun. And these are the little fellas that are coming up because they're understanding.
You saw the Little League World Series. Yeah.
This is what it's about. Fun and entertainment. It's not that damn serious. Like, I get it. It's a game in which guys make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, I love seeing these Little League kids come up and they got their music and the fans are into it. That's what this is about, man. And Ronald brings that out. That is what always has bugged me. Prior to Ronald Acuña, this is why I laughed my butt off at the Freddie stuff, okay, with the whole eye black and the hat crap, is prior to that, this team was a little stuck up. This team, before Ronald got here, tight. This team was a little bit,
I saw the eye black situation.
Come on, don't do it,
Now,
Freddie.
the irony is Acuña doesn't win the World Series, which is the ultimate irony that year because he was injured. But
think about the group that comes in. Ozzie, Acuña.
Right.
These are the guys that are having fun.
But look at Arcia, look at Rosario.
All these guys.
And by the way, how about Rosario's at bat last night? How about that unbelievable at bat before he finally, gets the base knock? It's there is a joy and there's a fun that these guys play with. And I like it. I'm not put off by it because, I mean, the world changes. I mean, baseball, and I guess if you're Rob, you want it station to station baseball, act like you've been there. It's like the end zone celebrations. Like, who gives a crap now, right?
Yeah.
Who cares? Guys are having fun. Scoring a touchdown in the NFL is hard. Hitting a home run in Major League Baseball is hard, even for the elite guys. Enjoy it. But as I said, I do think these things are still dying hard in some circles of baseball.
Yeah. Mike Russo just sent me something where Bryce Harper hits a home run and slams his bat. I've seen it time and time again. I don't care because I think in these big moments when you come through, this is what happens. The real emotion comes out. Ronald is having a special year.
Right.
Ronald Acuña will not do this again, guys. He's not going to have back-to-back seasons of 70 and 40.
Let's hope so.
I do. But Mike, they're so unique. He may go the rest of his career not even come close to this. So whatever he's doing to celebrate and enjoy this, I have no issues with it. And I hope Braves fans don't either. He's got an issue with it because we're kicking their ass. Sorry, I have to say it. That's why he's having an issue with it.
Yeah.
Rob Thompson, the manager of the Phillies, is upset because his team is getting their brains beat in, and we're flossing and flexing on them, and he's got a problem with it.
They can do a little hand dance.
Yeah, and Ron, and again, you think about Ronald Acuña, he plays, well, like you talk about like the little kids in Little League, he plays like a little kid.
Yes.
He's a big, I always joke around, I'm a 12-year-old with a driver's license. That's Ronald Acuña. You see his facial expressions. More people in life should go through life like that. You know what I mean?
Just have fun, man.
Exactly.
Just have fun. And by the way, as a fan, it doesn't matter what team. I admire greatness, and I want to be entertained. That's why I watch these games. I don't watch these games so I can see the him, the ho him, and him ho, and guys just doing the same stuff all over the place. It doesn't attract me to want to spend my time to watch these games. By the way, headlines brought to you by our friends at ATL Live Well. Low testosterone doesn't have to keep you down. Call ATL Live Well today. Don't just live well.
A couple of guys hitting us up on the text line. Al Hayes saying to Dukes and Bell that he must have really hated Ricky Henderson.
Ooh.
You know, because Ricky Henderson was a guy that was always out there doing his thing. I mean, there's been guys who play with a swagger. I mean, how in the Midwest, the 85 Cardinals with Willie McGee and Ozzie Smith and those guys, they played with a swagger. They played with an energy. When Ozzie Smith's not supposed to come out of the dugout and do a flip to get the shortstop.
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
flair.
First time I saw that as a kid, I thought that was pretty darn cool.
Hey, guys, this hour brought to you by the Man Cave Store. Up your Man Cave game this football season. They've got custom pool tables, theater seats, guys, shuffleboards, whatever you want for family, friends, and fun. Visit mancavestore.com.